Today's episode is brought to you by In My Bag Apparel and Customs. In My Bag is a brand that collaborates with talented artists from across the country to bring some unique and exclusive concepts to life at a reasonable price. For $15 off your first purchase, visit whatnot.com/invite/inmy_bag 2023. That's whatnot.com/invite/inmy_bag 2023 for $15 off your first purchase. And make sure to check them out on Instagram as well at inmy_bag 2023. Did you know in 1979, the Kansas City Royals drafted two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 4th round Dan Marino, 18th round John Elway. And that stat is courtesy of my co-host today, CR McGee.
I'll just try to contribute some way.
Look, man, look. I never knew that. I didn't realize that. I knew John Elway was a great baseball player. I didn't realize that Dan Marino was that dude on the diamond though.
No, especially as slow as he was and stiff. So I would assume that.
It is kind of weird though, because like they went 4th and 18th in the same round, and neither one of them was like super athletic.
But Dan Marino was like.
But he was that dude slinging that rock though.
Yeah. I'm assuming he was a pitcher. He had to be a pitcher, if not first baseman. Like I don't see what other position he could play.
I just never knew that he even played baseball to begin with, and maybe that's showing my age and showing my incompetence. It happens sometimes, but I never knew that Marino was even in that realm. I knew that Elway is a baseball player as well, but we get there sometimes. But what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Playboy Podcast. The Playboy Podcast on the Sports Avengers Network on Facebook. Today is Sunday, June 29th. Glad to have you back with us. Once again, we got my dude, CR McGee, hanging out with us. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Happy Sunday. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's always good to have you on the mic and just kind of hanging out and chop it up for a bit. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last, 4 or 5 days. We've had the NBA draft. We've had guys get traded. We've had some things and rumors that we're not sure if they're actually any validity to. But the first thing we want to start off to is Philip Thomas had asked me the other day. He texted me and said, have we lost our real love for the sports draft? Have you, or is it just like for certain sports? Because he feels like the NBA draft has completely lost the allure has completely eluded us from now on as far as the NBA draft is concerned. But for that, and then just all sports drafts going forward, like what's your opinion on that?
If there's star power at the top, then people care. If there's not, no one gives a damn. So I'll say like this year, Cooper Flag was star power. And unless you're a diehard college hoops fan, you don't know really about Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey and, VJ Edgecombe. So I could see that, but if your team's at the top, you care. And if you're into the stars and there are stars, you care. NFL draft will always matter. Nobody's ever gave a damn about the baseball draft. And
dude, there's like 900 rounds of that thing.
And hockey is just, the hockey fans care and pretty much no one else does. Like I cared, but I'm pretty sure you didn't watch 1 second of the NHL draft on Friday.
Of the draft?
Yes.
You would be correct.
So
I put zero effort into it.
I believe next year's draft will be more, for the NBA I'm talking about, will be more hype than this one was, just because I feel like there's more star power at the top of the draft. You'll have AJ Dybala. I can't even pronounce the kid's name, but basketball fans, AJ Dybala, and then you got Carlos's Boozer son. So people will tune in next year.
Dude, so we didn't have this on the docket initially, but now I'm kind of wondering, like, so are we at some point, because you mentioned Carlos Boozer, who is somebody who I played against because he went to Juneau up here in Alaska. Same thing like with Trajan Langdon, same thing with Mario Thomas. Like I played against some of these dudes or at least know of them. Are we at the point now where we are going to, it's going to be an oversaturation of former NBA players and their kids now taking over because they got the money, the nutrition, the travel camps, and things like that? Is that going to be more? It feels like that's going to be more common than at any other era than it is right now.
I feel like it's already common. We just know the players better. Like there are some guys that, like I said, unless you're a hardcore basketball fan, like you didn't know who their pops played in the league. Like, you know, me and you know who Jaren Jackson Sr. is, but a lot of casual fans probably wouldn't have. So I believe,
Right.
you know, the names are more known now just because of the internet, social media. So we'll be seeing it that way, but it's been happening for decades.
Yeah, I know that it has, but it just feels like now, like because, and you mentioned with social media, the way that it is, the way that we incorporate this into our short-term brain complexes, if you will. It's like now Carmelo Anthony's kid, and now Braun has another kid trying to roll in there, and Kenyon Martin's kid, and then Gilbert Arenas' kid. It just feels like at some point in time, I've got discouraged in my time in this space with the podcasting thing because there's 2 million of them.
Mhm.
And at that point in time, also it also comes to if the kids who have the generational and genetic ability of their fathers or the mothers, are all these other sports going to be ran by them in the next generation, which I can see where there could be some discouraging in that as well.
Yeah, I mean they got good stock. It's good DNA. So
They got good DNA.
It'll
You're
be
right.
a lot of them. You know, like in baseball's draft, I think it's next week. You know, what's his name? Matt Holliday's son is projected to be a top 5 pick. And he
That's
already
crazy.
had his son go number 1 2 years ago. So,
but see, and that's what's so wild though, is because like MJ's up here for most people, and then you got his son who just boop 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 boop, and you got LeBron's son who's merp. But the when you get these kids of former athletes, the pressure is so hard. Them is like either A, you follow in your parents' footsteps, or B, like you're a failure. It's like maybe I just want to do my own thing. But if you follow in their footsteps, it almost feels like it's a failure in their own mind and a failure in their own life, which doesn't seem fair to them because they're kids. Like they didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. I mean, and then some of them know that. They're like, you know what? I don't want to be in that same lane. And they might choose a different sport. Like look at someone like Grant Hill, whose, you know, father was in the NFL. He was like, you know what? I'm going to play basketball. I'm not doing the football thing.
Grant Hill's dad was in the NFL?
Played running back for the Cowboys.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so it all depends. Everyone's different. So I'm looking forward to seeing all these juniors and the thirds and like what next year, DeJuan Wagner Jr. will probably go to the NBA and his grandfather played in the NBA. His dad played in the NBA. So
it's a family business.
Yeah.
At that point in time.
And my family's business is working at the post office. So like, hey, it is what it is.
And I have no family business because we're all over the goddamn place. But so when it comes to the draft, though, that was a question that Philip asked me, is that do you think it's just the entirety of, we said like draft parties, right? And I have no idea what the kids are doing right now, but you know, we're both in our late 30s, early 40s. I don't have draft parties. I don't care. I don't watch that much. Do you think the draft has lost its allure just because the younger generation doesn't care anymore? Or do we just not care about basketball, but we still do about football?
I think people care. It's just if there's not a bunch of stars and people who think that they're going to be superstars, then there's just less views. And they've made it a 2-day process now, and they moved it from Thursday to Wednesday. honestly, we probably would have more people watching and caring about the draft if ESPN's coverage of the draft wasn't so god awful. Like if it wasn't Stephen A. Smith
Well-
up there, who you can tell doesn't watch college basketball and doesn't know shit about these players, that also hurts.
He leans so much into just being, and I don't want to knock his hustle because obviously he's hustled long enough. He's on soap operas. He's an actor. But that's what he is.
He's,
I don't. Am I speaking out of pocket? I don't want to believe that I am.
Character to me. He's just
He's a character. That's fair.
So I can't stand his analysis. It's lazy. It's
like
lazy.
when he has top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL and he has like
Troy
anybody
up there
that are playing right now, exactly, because that is absolutely some dumb that he would do. But the draft process overall, like you don't have draft parties, you don't care about this stuff anymore, right? Like you just don't. It's not hype because like that's what Phil was asking me was, does it feel like we've lost our connection with the draft? And I understand to a degree because like we talked about earlier with social media, it feels like right now we know largely what's going to happen before it happens, especially with the number 1 overall pick. Number 1 overall picks nowadays don't really get moved, but you have to create the conversation. You have to create the buzz on ESPN or whatever you're listening to. You have to make those narratives pop a little bit, but it feels like there's not a whole lot of guesswork into the first 2 or like top 1 or 2 picks. So like for any sport at all, do you even chime in anymore? Because I don't even chime into the NFL draft.
I do because my teams are bad. So it's like I care a lot.
Now let me ask you this. Do you watch the entirety of the draft until you pick, or do you just chime in when your pick is up? Because those are 2 different answers.
It depends on where my team is picking. Like Friday,
so Caleb was number 1.
But we also had number 10 or number 9. So
you chimed in for number 10, but not for number 1?
Yeah, no, I chimed in for 1. I wanted
That's fair enough.
I wanted to, like, we're in Detroit. I wanted to hear those weak ass Detroit fans and what they had.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That y'all was in Detroit for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and right. Jared Goff and like, man, like, hey, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Let me not get started on Detroit because I'll go off for a minute on that. But I watched the draft, one, because especially the NFL, like, maybe my team is going to trade back in. I want to see who's falling, to see who's going to go to day 2, and maybe we can grab them in day 2. The NBA, we had the 12th pick. I saw what pick the Bulls made, and then I continued to watch because I'm an Illinois fan, and I wanted to see where, we had 2 guys projected to go in the first round. I wanted to see where they would go. As soon as Will Riley was drafted, I turned the draft off, and I started watching Scandal reruns. With the NHL the other day, we had the 3rd pick. As soon as the Blackhawks picked, I turned that shit off. I like hockey, but these dudes ain't going to play for like 3-4 years. I'm not watching that past my team.
No, and I can appreciate that. It's just like for me, it was when I was asked the question of has the NBA draft lost its hype, and I can understand why, because either A, you're getting people who are being drafted from overseas who you've never watched before, and if you are watching them, you don't probably have a really good representation of how good they'll be. But there's also the draft is the draft. Like it's a television product at this time. Like you're not getting legitimate actual representation of who these guys are. Because I know every time I watch the NFL draft, I see Mel Kiper or Tom McShay say every single draft, every single round, this guy's a potential superstar. Why the hell am I watching this if everybody's supposed to be great when we both know, or all of us know, that not all of them are going to be?
Right. No, that's a fact. I feel like now that I'm older and I'm so heavy into college sports, I can have my own opinions on these guys. So the experts' analysis doesn't matter to me as much. Like,
And you're
you,
also making money off of them being dummies.
yeah, I
Wink,
made a
wink.
couple,
Yes, he said, "Yeah."
I made a couple draft bets the other day. I'm a degenerate, so I won a couple dollars. Hey, not
Hey,
on
man.
flag, but I had Ace Bailey going number 5, so I won a few shillings off of that.
I love how you use the term shillings for currency. That's some old ass shit, and I'm older than you.
I'm sorry, I got a dog over here. Don't know what she's about to do.
The doggies. Is that Virginia?
It is.
No, she can come into the shop. She can come in the shop. We love Virginia.
Yeah, no. Virginia needs a bath today. So
Fair enough. Then we won't do that. But so as far as drafts are concerned, I've always been the proponent of like we don't even need drafts anymore. Why do we even have them? I never liked them to begin with. But what's your thought? Like, do you think that drafts are still important? Should we still employ them? And if so, have the same construct between like for every single sport, or it just to me just feels like it's a done because I want owners to be completely reckless with their money if they have the salary cap to do it.
I mean, should we have them? I mean, no, it's un-American. If you really think about it, we live in a free market society, so no,
Thank
we
you.
shouldn't have them.
It's an antiquated way of doing business.
Yeah,
on every level.
So wait, the team in LA wants to pay me more. I get to live in LA, but because Utah was garbage and they have the number 5 pick, I got to go to Utah. Like,
so I'll tell you this, man, you're really good at this. You and I have been doing this long enough where you know how to segue unintentionally, but we'll do it. We'll do it because I swear to God, man, like your feel for me and how I do things. Obviously, I lay things out a little bit, but that plus the chat and in my bag apparel, which is Evan Bradfield in my bag apparel. Make sure you check him out for his. I was wearing his. I was rocking his stuff the other day. His LeBron, King James, Mortal Kombat stuff. That's fire. Make sure you look up in my bag apparel. But what's the alternative? And for
me, something that's really what I need. Go ahead, Evan.
Wait, you need some stuff?
Yeah. I'll text him. I'll hit him up. Like, man, I'll send him my address.
He got some fire Luka stuff. Steph, Braun, Caitlin Clark. Right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm not. I need what about? I need some Angel Reese stuff. Some Angel Reese.
There we go. In my bag cartel. There we go. In my bag bigcartel.com. And if you need something, holler at him. I'm sure he can make that. He said new logo drops in a couple weeks.
Bet.
We're there for it. But so let's see.
We can answer his question.
You mentioned Ace. What was I'm sorry?
We can answer his question about what's the alternative.
So for me, like the way that I look at it is that I feel like the draft. I know we got a little bit. We weren't even getting political, but for me, it's just why not if it's a salary cap sport, if you have the ability to sign somebody who wants to play for you, let them play for you. So Ace Bailey, because you mentioned him earlier, and that's kind of where we got into the segue because you're good at this, is all right, do you have the ability to sign me for I don't want to play at Utah at all. Do you have enough money to pay me to play for you? If not, then I can move my services somewhere else. And I have absolutely zero problem with that. Most people do because they're like, hey, it's an honor to be drafted into the NBA. 100% certain. But I also believe you should have a little bit of leeway in deciding where you want to have your employment be held at.
No, I agree with you. Like, I just feel like the thing with Ace Bailey in Utah, I think, all right, can you force him to play for you now? Yeah, but when his contract's up down, like it's not like he's not gonna remember that. Like he's gonna. If it's me, it's like I'm taking that personally. It's like I told you I didn't want to be here. He wanted to stay on the East Coast. Not only is he not on the East Coast, you sent him to effing Utah, where the only black people in Utah play for the Jazz. So, like, I wouldn't have done it. I feel like with a place like that, you have to find people who want to be there, like like a Darren Williams, like a John Stockton, like a Carl. We like him, Young Malone. Right?
So do you think that may be so we're in now we're into uncharted territories. I know there's been talks about basketball teams going back to Seattle and having one in Las Vegas. It feels like nobody wants to be in Utah. And I feel like it's kind of run its course of do you see that team could be discontinued?
No, like
Or is this more expansion and just like that was be a thing no matter what?
more expansion. Like Utah's not struggling. Like they don't struggle to fill their building or anything like that. They're making money, so I don't see them going anywhere. I just feel like that there's a certain type of person / player that they need to have. Like
I
maybe
know,
some,
but if you push it too far, you won't have a franchise at all.
yeah, and it's we're treading dangerous waters with this because everybody can't not want to be in Utah. Like it's not that's just not a thing. But some people are just gonna have to like, man, I just want to be in the NBA and I don't care what team. Like there are plenty of those guys.
There are, but and that's always kind of the difficult construct to go back and forth with is that most people say, well, you're going to live there for half a year. With the housing market, no. If you've already got your second contract, that's an argument that you can have. If you're on your rookie deal and have to pay for two different houses, no, that's not really as amicable as you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know what they're gonna do with Utah. I feel like there are only a few places I feel like in the NBA that we're talking about that are like that. Like you got Utah. Some people don't want to go to Canada, but like really, other than
Some
that,
people can't go to Canada.
yeah. I mean, sure, I got a couple cousins not allowed up there, but that's because they did some stuff they didn't have no business doing. But I'm trying to think of another market. Like
No, but
Stephen A. Smith, Memphis is one of those places. I think he's full of it, but that's what he says.
what was the first part? I'm sorry.
Stephen A. Smith says Memphis is one of those places. Like a lot of guys don't want to go to Memphis because it's too dangerous. But
I think it's not. I don't think it's not. It's not too. I've never been there, so I can't say definitively that I know it's not too dangerous. But it seems to be a pretty common place. But it's not like Los Angeles
yeah, but
or New
everybody.
York.
But that's my thing. Like that's my retort to it. Like everyone can't go to L.A. and New York and Miami and Houston. Like you got to go other places. I just feel like you have to get guys that want to be there. So,
And that's why OKC won the way that they did, is because they had people who wanted to play the way that they wanted to play and do things the way they want to do. And they all bought in. And guess what? In 2 years, they're not going to feel the exact same way.
and winning silences all of it. If you're winning, all right, let's keep it moving. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as the I want to go back to the chat real quick. What's the alternative? Yeah, To me, as far as like the alternative, like I've always thought about this when it comes to the draft because I've never liked being pushed on somebody who's like 18, 19 years old. The draft is always it's also an obscure thing because we when it comes to football and the draft of players to sports, they're synonymous. Like you've been drafted to the military, been drafted to this other place. And to me, it's sports. It shouldn't be that way where you don't have any opportunity and any chance to pick where you want to go. If you're a franchise, regardless of sport, that says we have this much salary cap, if you have $2 million in salary cap and you're the number one overall pick, doesn't mean you can sign the best player. If you've won and you've organized your organization the best way that you can, and you've got more money to be able to save to either sign this guy or better predicament for living situations. I wish there was no draft at all, and let these owners run amok. So if you have the salary cap, honestly, I also think that every team or every league should have a salary cap. And if you're at the bottom and you have no money, but you're willing to pay for one specific dude, then go do it. But if he tells you no, then keep it moving down the line until you get the guy that you want. I don't like the draft process at all.
So then it's kind of like how baseball is with their player pool. Like it's like if you got the first pick in the draft, you have $10 million, but you got to sign your whole class with that $10 million. The second pick, $9 million, same thing, and then you just keep going down from there. Something like that.
Yeah, well, it's also like when you, but baseball is different because you can recruit and draft people in high school.
This is true.
You can't do that with any other sport.
And the international players, they're signing as soon as they turn 16. So
I guess before we move on, like, do you enjoy as far as every major sport? Do you enjoy the way that the draft class and draft process works? And if you don't for one specific, is there one that you would change? And if you like everything, it doesn't really matter at that point. I personally I would want to get rid of the entire draft process, period.
Well, I know the draft isn't going anywhere, especially because they make too much money off of them.
Right.
But the one thing that I know I would change, like I would do every sport I feel like should have a lottery, NFL included. Like I think there should be a
really?
Lottery. Yeah, I do. Like honestly, it makes it more fun. It's like, oh wait, the Patriots just won the lottery. Well, the number one pick is supposed to be Cam Ward, but they don't need a quarterback. So it's like, oh, they're going to trade it. Like it just adds more intrigue that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's part of why I want to get rid of the draft altogether. But I do understand what you're saying, though. And I've been on both sides of the camp on this of either abolish it altogether and just let it be complete free agency, or the team that wins the championship gets the first pick. Instead of trying to create parity, why don't you try to create competence?
I'm okay with that. I've thought about like the reverse, like the team who just missed the playoffs gets the first pick. And then the team that was absolute trash has that last pick in the lottery.
See, and I've had the exact same thing too. Is like I have so many of these like scenarios that go on in my head, like kind of thing with Dallas, and maybe that's what you just alluded to. Almost seems exactly what had happened with the Mavericks. It's like you tried, you got into the playoffs or play in, you missed it, and I know there's going to be a lot of conspiracy theorists and say the reason why you got it is because you traded Luka for dimes to nothing, basically. So that's going to be an issue regardless of what the situation is, but nothing's ever going to be perfect. For me, I just feel like either if it's a salary cap sport, then let it be a salary cap sport. Now we've gotten to NIL with the college kids, is if you declare for the draft, let's see who is willing to pay for you. And also, where do you actually want to go? What's important to you? Is it the money? Is it the situation? Is it the living close to home? we are constantly being told what means the most to these kids. What actually means the most then? The money, the power, the fame, being close to family, the draft status. What is it? I'm open for a free market campaign for everything across sports.
Right, yeah, I mean that's how the rest of the world is. Like, if you're, the valedictorian coming out of MIT, then you don't have to go to Apple. Like, you go to whoever's going to offer you the best opportunity.
Right. And that was so before NIL happened, I had the exact same discussion on this well, not this podcast, but the first rendition was people went to Alabama because it was a factory. Now you don't have to. And now you can stay home. You can make money in your little town in California, Nebraska, and Iowa. It doesn't matter. Like NIL make it take. It's not that it makes the lesser programs better, but what it does is it takes the bigger talent pool away from those juggernauts.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked having NIL being part of it. You may not like the kids making that much money, but if you want parity, because that's what you've been telling that you want to be part of college sports or pro sports, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I want my parity in college sports. Keep it out of my pro sports. Like that. That's
so you want all the legacy stuff.
Yeah, like
in pro sports.
Right. I want to see Mahomes and Josh Allen go at it every year.
But see, that's only been the last 6-7 years though.
But that's fine. That's what I want. I want that. I want to see that. I
don't because that the Bills lose all the time. I don't really. I appreciate that, but
I mean, y'all beat Lamar. If it makes you feel
that's not Mahomes. You didn't say that.
I mean, nobody beats Mahomes before the Super Bowl, so if that, not really your fault. I told you, he cut his hair. He bought himself some new stress balls on his wife. Hey, he about to win MVP. So,
what, Mahomes or Mahomes?
Yeah.
We had that conversation. Well, I don't know if you and I did, but we had the conversation as far as like, oh no, it was you and I, because when he did that, we're like, he's got more than just. He's got alimony to potentially fight. Doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Mahomes winning MVP. Rashee Rice, it's about to be ugly. I'm glad my team plays in the NFC. So,
man,
enjoy.
I wish I was a Lions fan for the last 36 years of my life instead of the Bills. This is
you
bullshit.
You don't. They got dirty water, dirty stadium. Just they make Hall of Famers retire early. Two of the greatest players in NFL history retired because they're like, this organization and this city's just so trash. I don't want to play anymore. You don't want that.
Speaking of players, so I want to save your rant for later. But as far as guys who retired early, you kind of put a pin in my head is Patrick Willis or Luke Kuechly. Who do you think retired earlier?
Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis was a specimen. Like, he was different,
man.
He was different. Like, Patrick Willis was built like one of them dudes fighting in Django.
Sorry. I was trying to move on to the next thing, and like the chat got me boosted up for a minute. Damn, but you're not wrong though. I think that Patrick Willis was absolutely a better linebacker than Kuechly was.
Brian Urlacher too.
What was that?
Better than Brian Urlacher too.
You find you some Bears. Well,
that's it.
Well, you are a Bears fan, so I was gonna say find you a Bears fan. We'll argue about it, but you've already you've laid the groundwork for it. So I'll say this: so Evan Bradfield of In My Back Apparel says everybody better watch out for Knicks. I hope he doesn't mean Bo Nix. I think that's who he's talking about. CR.
The Twins were speaking. I did not hear you because
Oh no. No, I said Evan Bradfield of In My Bag Apparel said everybody better watch out for Knicks, like Bo Nix. I don't. He exceeded my expectations in his rookie year, but I feel like in like what we see in most quarterbacks sophomore season, it's going to be a downtick, and especially in that division.
I believe in Sean Payton. So it's not really Bo Nix that I'm like. I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback, but I just believe that defense is ugly. And, they got RJ Harvey to run the ball now. And, Bo Nix he can play a Brock Purdy style of football. Like, he just don't mess it up. I love how, like, all right, you know what? It's 3rd and 3. We need a first down. Nothing's open. Okay, I'm going to take off. I'm going to get it myself.
But do you believe in him actually? This is the reason why I know that people call me a bad Bills fan all the time, is because of Josh Allen. They say that he's gridiron Jesus, but they also don't forget his first 2 years. I see you smiling, bro. Like I see you smiling. Like they say he's gridiron Jesus now, but they forget his first 2 years. And I said, if they never had Stephon Diggs to develop everything else, he probably wouldn't be what he is now. But then everyone says I'm a hater, not a hater. I just felt they didn't have to trade up for him. It is what it is. But now that we're doing this, because apparently Evan's a big Broncos fan, goes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We're back. Wishful thinking. Yep. I like the Broncos, but they're not the Chiefs, though. And it's not. Let me ask you this real quick, though. Before we move on, CR. That division, AFC West. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Like, do you have a hierarchy? Let's say everything goes perfectly and nobody gets injured. We'll play in that stratosphere for a second.
It's Chiefs, Charcoals, Raiders.
Charcoals.
Yeah.
Wait, you say Charcoals?
Charcoals. Charcoal. I don't know who's 2 in that division. I don't.
You got Raiders as the 3/4.
The Raiders are 4. Actually, the Raiders.
But they just got Geno Smith. Everybody loves Geno Smith, man.
Everybody is too many people. Geno Smith.
You ain't wrong about that. No, I don't believe in him. But everybody's like, well, they got Geno Smith. How could they not at least make the playoffs?
I mean, I got a 4-cup measuring cup in the kitchen. That means absolutely nothing. Geno Smith is ass.
Geno Smith.
Like, right. Like, he's okay. He's okay. He's solid. He's not the worst quarterback you can have. What's he gonna do? Who's he throwing to? You got Bowers.
That's exactly. Well, that's the other thing too. Is in Seattle when you had Lockett and DK and Jackson Smith and Jigma
and Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Yeah.
Even when they were injured, like, what are you doing? Now, I don't want to make this so simplistic where like the defense doesn't matter but the thing is that coaching matters. But as a quarterback, when you played as long as Geno has, you should be able to make your own checkdowns and say, hey man, I don't need to run the play that you're telling me to run. I need to make the play that extends the drive. And I don't think that anywhere that Geno's gone that he actually has had that one confidence instilled in him, or also that he feels that he could do it as well.
He's Geno Smith. Like, there's just nothing special about him.
He's also in his mid-30s now, dog. Like,
come on, man. He's not even the best quarterback to come out of West Virginia. But give me Pat White.
We'll see. That's gonna be a thing. And Evan says they got Gentry. Ashton Genty, right? He could be fun to watch. But that's the thing is that I feel like for me, the problem that I run into with these conversations is that people say, well, he's fun to watch. And when they're fun to watch, we elevate them to be better than what they are. Now, Genty, we haven't even seen play one snap at the NFL level right now. But could he be fun? Yeah, for sure. But being fun is not how all this works. I can appreciate how fun somebody is to watch, but when it comes to sports television shows, man, the people who get paid the big bucks, they're going to crucify that man regardless of what he does if he doesn't win anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's not even his fault. Like
he's a rookie with Geno Smith in the battle line.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you went and got a Lamborghini, but you live in the hood. Like, what are you doing? Like, go get the offensive line together and then go get the running back. So, I mean, it is what it is. They're the Raiders. They're finishing fourth. There's nothing anyone can tell me differently.
I could see them getting third in the division because I don't trust honestly, that whole thing is attracting me because I feel like the Chiefs are still going to be the number one spot. And I have my own, I feel like based on what you want to prioritize, I could see where the Chargers, Raiders, or Raiders could potentially be the second spot. I personally have the Raiders as the worst team in that division, but you can swap, Denver and San Diego or I keep doing San Diego, man. I can't break that, man. My old asses can't break San Diego. I'm trying my best.
Like you said, they're interchangeable. Denver and the Chargers. Like, I love Justin Herbert. I love Latin McConkey. Like, that's my guy. Not McConkey, McHonky. Like, that's my dude. So
now McHonky?
McHonky, yep. And then I believe the Chargers drafted the best running back in the draft in Omarion Hampton. So I don't think they're going anywhere. They already had a good offensive line. They got two stud young tackles. Herbert is a really good quarterback, and Jim Harbaugh is going to run the ball, play good defense. They're going to be in every game. Them and the Broncos will be battling for second to me, because that Bronco defense with PS2, and now they just got Jahdae Barron. You don't want to throw on those boys.
No, for sure. I had something I wanted to add a little bit. So we talked about Ace Bailey a little bit earlier, but I wanted to really, because we went on some super different tangents. One, I posted something on the Avengers page, and I wasn't sure if it was actually true or not, and that kind of trickles down to the Don Staley portion of one, do you actually think that Ace thought that it was trade like 2K where you can kind of pick where you want to go? Two, did he actually retire? Because I've been fooled by the internet so many damn times, and which is why I couple that into Don Staley, is because people told me that was a fluke, and I've seen enough things where there's certain pages where I know that there's satire. But there's also ones where I'm like, I can't tell if you're joking with me or if this is real life. So one, Don Staley to the Knicks, or is there something behind it? And then two, did Ace Bailey really think that? What are your thoughts? Because me in Alaska, I have certain things that are pushed down my pipeline, and I don't know what to believe anymore.
I believe Ace Bailey wanted to go to Washington. I thought he was going to go to Washington. And from what I read the day after the draft, he was going to Washington, and Danny Ainge got wind of it and blew it up. So what I heard
Really?
online is that there was a trade, basically done deal before the draft. Utah and Washington would swap picks. Not Utah, Charlotte and Washington would swap picks. Danny Ainge got wind of it and told Charlotte, like, hey, you want Con Knuppel? Well, if you don't take him, we are taking him. So Charlotte was like, well, we don't want to lose out on him, so no deal. But Danny Ainge really just wanted Ace Bailey. You know, it's like the same thing he did with Philly. How he told, Philly, like, hey, if you want Markelle Fultz, you better come and get him because I'm going to take him. But really, he wanted Jason Tatum the whole time. So,
Well, see, I know the moment that, because I saw a lot of stories leading up to this, and it was Ace Bailey didn't want to go to Utah. And once I saw that he was drafted, I thought they're using him as trade bait. It's what I would do in Madden. I already have a quarterback. I'm gonna draft one if I can. That's trade bait. So, but then I heard again that he retired, and I have no idea what source. And you're snickering at me, and I don't appreciate that. But I'm getting old in my old age, dog. I just want to make sure I'm not getting bamboozled out of nowhere. And I wasn't sure if that was true or not because I saw him. I didn't see it on ESPN or Bleacher Report or anything like that. So I never put a whole lot of stock into it. But I had the exact same thing with Don Staley getting the Knicks job. And now it seems to be getting more traction. I just want to make sure I'm not getting bamboozled or anything like that.
No, you're good. You're good.
So he's not retiring.
No, he was in.
He's
Utah.
just not playing for them.
No, he showed up yesterday with Jazz apparel on, and they have the promotional videos where he's dunking in the practice facility and all that. So there's really nothing he can do. Like, this isn't like other sports where it's like in the NFL, like if they draft you, I can sit out a year and re-enter the draft. You can't do that in the NBA. You only get drafted once.
I thought you could do that in the NBA, but isn't there a deadline, or am I completely misremembering that? I thought you could wait out and go back into the draft if certain circumstances happen.
Someone told me the other day that it changed with this new CBA that you can sit out and they don't just hold your rights. I just don't know if it's true. I'm not gonna sit here and lie with like, yeah, I went through the NBA bylaws and because I didn't, but I know for the longest that you just had a player's rights. You draft him, he's yours until you trade him. So maybe we'll have to take a deeper dive into this, but
I think we will because even Evan, who's a huge hoops fan, he's like, I didn't see the retire thing, dude. That thing popped to my timeline a lot today of like he's retiring, which again, I don't know if it's true. I don't believe in it because again, it's not coming from like a reputable source. It seems like it's just these satire pages that are just pushing content out for clicks. So that's why I'm not putting a whole lot of investment into it.
Yeah, no, he's there. He's there. He's gonna play. I mean, maybe we can hook him up with Lee, and they can hang out in Utah together. I don't know. They're the only people out there with some color, so. Good luck.
Good luck, bro. So as far as so let this thing go back across the screen real quick. So have the sports loss of draft lure. We've already gone over that. Meaning blah 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 blah. With the Ace Bailey stuff. Don Staley, so I guess before we get into anything else, Don Staley, do you think there's any real truth to Don Staley getting to the Knicks, or is that all just kind of smoke and then we'll move on to Giannis?
I believe that there could be real interest. I don't believe she would leave. Like, she's an icon there. I don't believe, those are her aspirations. I think she's just happy where she is. I don't see why they wouldn't at least interview her. Like, you're interviewing coaches who've been fired in the NBA 2 and 3 times already. Why wouldn't you interview a fresh voice? She's one of the best basketball minds that we've seen over the past 15 or so years. Why not? You don't have to give her the job, but yeah, interview her. See what she has to say.
But do you think it's legitimate? Because like again, I went from one source and it felt like it was satire, and then I started seeing it pop up again more and more often. And again, it hasn't been through like ESPN or anything like that, but it seems like it's kind of catching some more traction. But when I initially posted on the Avengers page, I was met with largely laughter. I'm like, I have no idea what's satire or not anymore. But we've seen like with Becky Hammond, like we've seen her get some recognition for it. I don't think it's too far fetched to think that she would at least get an interview, right?
No. Like she has the resume to at least get an interview. There are certain things like unless it comes from a certain source, I take it with a grain of salt. Like if Sham said it or something like that, okay, there's some validity to it. I don't know if this is just something that people are putting out on the internet, but I believe they absolutely should at least interview her. What do you have to lose by bringing her in for an interview?
Right, because like that's the whole thing. The only person who loses anything is what, South Carolina?
Yeah.
Like you as the New York Knicks have nothing to lose. Technically, I guess from the public perspective, they would say, "Oh, really? You don't take winning seriously?" Because like you and I both know, like the gender doesn't matter. But once things get put into the stratosphere, that is when people say, "Well, really? What about all the other coaches who've actually done stuff in the NBA?" And that's where the narrative starts to change. But to me, as somebody like I don't know, I feel like she knows hoops pretty well. I think that the interview to me is not a problem.
No.
At the very bare minimum.
Yeah, like it doesn't. You don't even have to. Hell, you can have a Zoom with her. You don't even have to bring her in. Just talk to her.
Yeah,
See where her head's
private jet her in.
Man, let her go get some of that cheesecake P. Diddy had them walk for or something like that. I don't.
Or some of that garbage ass pizza y'all got up there in New York.
We know where the best pizza is. Like it's
Alaska. No, it's not.
Man, you got a barbecue every day. I don't know how the takeout is in Alaska.
It's the takeout is not great. My homegrown and my own stuff is pretty good, but the takeout not so much.
Yeah.
But Giannis, so Giannis is one of the most infuriating players to me in NBA history. I can't stand Giannis Antetokounmpo. So he might be on the move, maybe again for like the fourth off season, right? Like this is like 4 or 5 years of him doing this, right? Oh, is that Virginia?
Yeah, it's Maggie. Virginia's over my shoulder.
That's all good. But yeah, so like this is like the fourth or fifth year in a row where we've heard Giannis saying, "Well, if you don't do what I want, I'll leave."
So this is the first year I actually give validity to it. I think it's all, because to me, he's never come out and outwardly said anything. I think this is the most vocal.
He has though.
I don't know, and I still don't think he's leaving. I don't. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's comfortable there. He has 3 or 4 young kids. He's married. I don't think he wants to really leave. He just wants to win.
So I think it's both. So to me, like when it comes to word association with NBA superstars and where they play, Steph and Giannis, those two mean the most of their cities where they actually play. And that's what it feels like to me. But Giannis has also played the victim too many times where he's like, I want to win here. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm about. And then when he loses, flips the script and says, well, winning isn't everything. Well, which one is it?
I feel like you got to keep the pressure on these organizations, though, or you end up in the, wasting your career. You only have a short one. God bless it, Virginia. You only have a short window to play. And if you really want to be great, the great ones have to win. He has one ring. He wants another one. So,
well, I think the problem that I have with him, and I want to kind of segue this into the Kobe LeBron stuff at the very end, is that he said he wants to do it there, but then he puts pressure on them to do certain moves or else he's going to leave. But when Kobe was there initially, he had the exact same thing. Then they got Shaq. And then Giannis is saying, well, I'll just leave if you guys don't do stuff. And they made the trade for Dame. They've done things to try to do stuff for him, but it's not like he's completely innocent in all of these transactions, right? Like if you want to stay in Milwaukee, then stay in Milwaukee. But I feel like Milwaukee means as much to him as he means to Milwaukee, but it also feels like he's playing both sides. And that's the biggest thing that I have the issue with Giannis is that he plays us as the American consumers so well. Like he flips the only champ because he's made only championships matter, right? He's made that argument. Then he goes, well, it's about the journey. Me losing has nothing to do with anything. I wouldn't leave this place, but I'm going to request a trade, but I'm going to do it under the table. I just feel like he's doing everything super sly. And that's that on top of his game. I don't like his offensive game. He to me, he's just a little bit more athletic Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely doing it. So no, he's not going to come off as the bad guy. And he's going to make sure that he doesn't come off as the bad guy.
Exactly.
He hasn't formally requested a trade. He just leaks little stuff like, I'm interested in seeing what Milwaukee does this summer. Like, we all know what that means. It's you better.
But he's been doing that for like 4 years now, though.
I mean, it's the same thing that LeBron was doing in Miami and Cleveland, and he's doing it right now in LA.
I know, but and that's a great segue, but it's also the fact of like we don't crucify Giannis for doing it though.
Probably because Giannis hasn't ever left. Like Giannis didn't jump ship to Miami and not one, not two, not three.
So I can understand that because LeBron was very vocal about that. So that can it being televised to me doesn't mean like that doesn't mean shit. But the whole where he did it on video, that means nothing to me.
Man, I flipped.
What was that?
I flipped the table.
Oh, because you thought you were going to get him because you were one of the contenders.
Yeah, I flipped the table that night.
Which again, I can totally understand.
It was a wood coffee table, so it didn't break, but still, I'm over it now. A little bit. I'm not over it, bro.
Wait, you're still like almost.
It's 15, not even LeBron.
It's 15 years later, bro. You still hold on to it.
Like because Dwayne Wade keep going on podcasts talking about me, LeBron, and Bosh to Chicago was a done deal. They just wouldn't trade Luol Deng to make the money work.
Man, nobody believes that.
But Dwayne Wade said it several times. Like it was a done deal. All three of them to Chicago. The starting lineup would have been Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Joakim Noah.
So let me ask you this. Do you think the reason why they didn't do it was so if we're doing conspiracy theories, because we're too deep in this now, was to keep the mythology of MJ?
No. I don't think that, because if all three of them come together, the pressure's on LeBron. It's not on Wade.
It always has been, though.
It's on LeBron to go and, defeat the ghost of Michael Jordan. But even when that happened, though, even though it didn't happen in Chicago, it happened in Miami, though.
So he's like the chasing of the ghost of Michael Jordan has always been a thing one way or another. But if he did it in Chicago, but why would it be vetoed then if all three guys were supposed to go there to begin with?
It would have been magnified if you put on that jersey, though. If you put on that red and black and you go try and do it in his house, that like there is no United Center without Michael Jordan. Like
No, for sure.
And if you go there and I mean, of course, he wouldn't have been able to wear 23, but you're the chosen one. This is who you're being compared to, and you got to do it.
But when Wade says that it was supposed to happen, though, why though?
Because they wanted to play for Tibbs. They wanted to play with Derrick Rose.
See, I have a hard time. The reason why I have such a hard time believing all of these things is like we never know the actual truth until years and years and years before everything is done. The Last Dance didn't happen until MJ was retired for what, 20 years or so?
About what? Definitely almost 25 years.
Yeah. So and it's going to be the exact same thing when it comes to professional football. It doesn't matter what it is. We're never going to know the truth because when you're playing and you're getting salaries and you're getting checks cut from those places, you are not going to talk the way that you would talk when you're off the script, when you're not on the payroll. So there's going to be a whole lot of other weird stuff going on before we even know it, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out more stuff about everything, but like you said, no one's gonna pull that curtain back while they're still playing. That just doesn't happen.
No, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you,
unless you're Jimmy Butler. Then that's different.
That was so crazy to me. But so the last point I kind of want to get to, because I had a lot of back and forth this afternoon with LeBron opting into his and this we'll hang it up after this because I know you have to go pretty soon. LeBron opts into his $50+ million with almost $58 million deal with the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And of course, Lakers fans are losing their minds and they're saying, well, that of course he do that. He's selfish and he's stat padding. And for me, I'm looking at it from the other perspective. I'm going, well, you do know that in the time frame, Kobe was making a Supermax deal 40+, and y'all were winning 30% of your games or less, but y'all had no problem with it. And what I'm met with is, well, yeah, but he was a Laker for life. If he was all about winning, like you told me that he was, don't you think he would have taken a cut to be able to win more championships? To me, I know that I'm looked at as a LeBron stan, but it's not. I don't care. I think that Michael Jordan is great. I think LeBron is great. I have no top five. I have no GOAT. What I'm doing is I'm using your logic against you based on, well, how could LeBron tap into a $58 million extension if he really wants to win and not stat pad? Then he'd take less. But you could have made the same argument for Kobe 11 years ago, but you didn't. But because he played there the entirety of his career, that's okay, even though it was $40 million a year and completely strapped your roster. Just why don't we just think about this for a minute? Do you care? I know that you and I have largely said, hey, man, get your money, stay out of other people's pockets. If LeBron wants to make $58 million a year and that's his contract, then go get your money, dog.
Yeah, a problem I have with it is he's supposed to take less money to help the team. That's not his job to build the team. His job is to go out there and play basketball at the highest level.
But the problem is you're going to run into La GM. Those stands are going to do that.
That's fine. If you let him do that, then that's on you as an organization. But me as LeBron James, bro, give me my money. I earned that money.
This is that better have my money.
I'm not back in Florida no more where there's no state tax. I'm in the highest tax state in the damn country. Like, no, give me every dime. Why should I give you, especially we have new billionaire owners? Why would I give you a discount? Oh, well, you said you want to win. Yeah, I do. But other teams are winning with, hell, Boston won a championship. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown make a pretty damn good amount of money. Oh no, give me my bread, bro. No, you trying to pay Austin Reeves? No, give me my money. I got
That's actually
1-2 years tops in me. Give me all my bread.
And that was one thing too. Is like every time that anybody says anything like that about LeBron, it's like he is the economy of the NBA as of right now. We kind of texted about this back and forth going into the episode. It was like we know, or in the Avengers chat was, we know that there's going to be people say, well, once LeBron leaves, the NBA is cooked. It's not. It's not cooked, but it is going to be people who, when you don't have him to lean back on as either A, your savior, or B, he's the antichrist of basketball, those extremes won't have anything to say. But there's so much more talent here. Like the NBA is in good hands.
Mhm.
They're going to be all right.
Yeah, no, one person doesn't make the whole league. Like LeBron is LeBron. He's a star, a superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, but the NBA isn't going to die when LeBron hangs them up. Like, that's just not how it works. It didn't die when Magic and Larry retired. It didn't die when Michael retired. Didn't die when Kobe retired. Like it's going to be fine. Other guys are going to step up. You know, it'll be perfectly fine. I'm not worried about the NBA at all without LeBron.
Now, LaShawn made an interesting point, and I'm not sure. I honestly don't know where I feel on one side of the fence of the other about it. And he said that the NBA can't survive with not having an American-born player be the face of the league. Like we can't have a European player or Asian, whatever continent or whatever you want to justify it as or categorize it as. They can't be the face of the league and have the NBA succeed. I personally don't agree with that. I feel like the National Basketball Association is going to be fine regardless of whether it's from Serbia, because these guys are getting older now with like the guys like Jokic, and Giannis even. But it doesn't mean the NBA can't survive without a U.S. born soiled superstar. I don't personally believe that.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's a global game. Like the NBA will be fine if the face of the league is someone from, Afghanistan. Well, maybe not Afghanistan, but
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was like I don't even know if he was there, but he was like the dude who was he was teetering in that mid-90s, bro.
The NBA will be perfectly fine with a face of the league not being American. Americans might not be happy about it, but it's a global game. Because if we want to be, Yao was the face of the NBA in Asia and making so much money for the NBA at one point. Like, it doesn't have to be an American. It just has to be someone with a personality that people enjoy watching.
He was the Ichiro of basketball.
Absolutely was.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely accurate to say like, will the NBA maybe take a dip if all the best basketball players are European or not from North America or from America? Maybe for a bit, but Canada's taking over. Like Serbia, Slovenia, like you said, it's a global game. It's supposed, if the intention, that's what frustrates me, man. Is like if everyone says we're supposed to grow the game and then it grows, and then we see what the outcome is, and not just Americans are great at it, then they start complaining and bitching about it. Where are we in this transaction of make our sport better, make it grow more, but do it our way? But even when we do, we're going to complain about it.
It's just ignorance. That's really what it comes down to. It's just ignorance. Like with the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing, like it's just all of it's just ignorance. Like, oh, we want this to be done, but it has to be done this way for it to fit our narrative. No, if the game is growing, it's growing. Like, be happy that it's growing. Be happy that you got young guys watching. Like, my son's favorite player isn't an American. SGA's from Canada. Like that's who he watches. That's who he studies. Who cares? I don't care if they're American. Like, that's like, same with my porn. Like, it's like they don't have to be American. I'm watching, wherever they're from. Hey, I'm okay with it. The Rocks is getting off regardless. So
Hey, look, as long as you're good at what you do, I will watch.
Exactly.
That was kind of a weird transition, but I mean, like, I get I get your overall point though. Was there anything you wanted to throw back in here before we go ahead and hang it up for the day?
Just for the Angel Reese haters, 24-17 today. Like, that's it. Like, she's had over 15 rebounds her last 4 games, and she's only had like 4 me-bounds. So
do you have anything you want to add on to that with Detroit? Because I'm putting up some background music if you want.
Let's do it. Detroit. We're only a couple weeks away from the football season starting. It'll be here before you know it. Week 2, we bearing down in Detroit. Big Ben Johnson coming back. Coming right in there, Dan Campbell. No lube. Coming in there, and you're going to take it all. You're going to take these first downs. You're going to take these touchdowns. And we're going to whoop Amaron St. Brown. So, bear down. Let's get it.
I love how every single week, I thought you were going to be a little bit more into the Angel Reese take, but that's fine. We can, it's Detroit. Detroit in general is who you have a problem with.
Mainly Lions fans. But, hey, their team has sucked their entire, like, nobody, like, they've sucked their entire lives. Like, you've never seen your team play in the Super Bowl, let alone win one.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is like as a Bills fan, I always get that same thing too. It's like they've never won one. I'm like, well, we had 2 AFL championships back to back before Super Bowls existed. Does that count? And they go, no. I'm like, all right, well then.
Yeah, I have gone 0-16. Like that's hard to do, to not win a single game. Y'all wrote Charlie Batch was your quarterback. Like, we've had some bad quarterbacks in Chicago. I don't know if they've been Charlie Batch bad.
Even Charlie Batch. Well, but see that, and that's the reason why I like having these conversations, because like Charlie Batch was okay. He was the mid of the middest of the mids back then, but they had the defense. Lions were just like cheeks across the board for a quarter of a century, bro. It's crazy to me.
They made 2 of my favorite players retire. Like, Barry Sanders is my GOAT running back.
Thank you.
Made him walk away from the game because y'all are that bad. Same with
now you got Dan Campbell.
Oh yeah. Well, we're biting these straps off.
I tell you what. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. We should do a fantasy draft where they get Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, but they also get Dave Wannstedt.
Yeah.
Not Dave Wannstedt because he never. I'm sorry. Who was the big Dave Wannstedt used to coach for the Bears? I'm sorry. Who was the Detroit Lions coach? Big bulky Italian dude.
You're not talking about Matt Patricia, are you?
No, no, I'm not talking about Matt Patricia. Oh man, I'm gonna have to. God, that's gonna bug the hell out of me. Because like I can visualize his face, but it's going to really Detroit Lions.
Wasn't Jim Schwartz, not Dick Geron,
No, God, I'm so ill prepared for this.
not Marty Morningwig.
No, it goes way. It's way past that. It was the Herman Moore years, before Steve Mariucci.
Gary Moeller.
Is it Wayne Fonts? There it is, Wayne Fonts. That's the guy. They have to have Wayne Fonts as their head coach, but they get both Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson.
You could take Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson and put the 85s Bears defense in Lions jerseys just because they have the stench of Detroit on them. They won't win shit.
The Lions won't win anything?
No. You can put
against the 85 Bears. No, you're right.
You can have, I don't care what you put on. As long as they got that Honolulu blue on, you're not winning shit.
What if they change the shade of the colors, though?
Well, you got to shave that whole lion. It need to be a bald kitty if you're going to win something. Nobody likes a hairy kitty.
Nope. I like how finally Nigel popped in because I had to scroll through. I was like, I know who it is, but of course Nigel popped in at the very last moment. He loves doing that, man. He loves popping at the very last moment, being the right guy, but not contributing and just saying the right thing at the right time.
Where have you been, Nigel? You haven't watched us in a while.
That's all I was saying, man. He just popped in out of nowhere, but he was like creeping like a thief in the night, and all of a sudden he's like, I know the answer because you've already said it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter either way.
I want Nigel on before we do our predictions of records and stuff for the year.
We can do that. So, funny story, true story. Okay, so my wife's birthday is this upcoming Wednesday. I took Thursday off so that she could have a spa day, but didn't know that I have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday off as well. So, what we should do is do a prediction day. Okay.
All right.
I want to make this happen. You're talking about for each. Are you talking about for each individual division or for the playoffs in general? What do you want to do, CR? Because you're actually here with me right now.
We can do them all. Like we can do divisions. We can do division winners and divisional winners all the way up to the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what. Thursday is my best day.
I'm looking at my calendar. Let's see. Thursday I should be good. I'm supposed to go to Hampton, Virginia, but right now it's looking like we're not going. So if we don't go, I'm fine.
So my thing is I got either Thursday or I got Saturday. Actually, I got Saturday and Sunday. Friday is the day that I don't have to me. But Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I got completely open.
Cool. We'll make it work.
We'll figure it out because if we want to have Nigel on this thing. I've had Nigel on the podcast beforehand. He's a good listen, but we gotta get all this thing together though.
Nigel and Uncle Phil together.
Ooh, oh my God! Right, one Cowboys fan, one Eagles fan,
and me there to instigate it all. Let's do it.
Why else would I have you around besides the fact that I love you?
I just want to instigate some shit.
Oh no, Nigel. Oh, not Nigel. LaShawn. If I have you and LaShawn here in the same thing,
Yeah,
we're about to wreck some stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna talk about how yellow Uncle Phil is. So
Well, we'll put it together. We'll put it together. I swear to God, we will. Between all of us, we'll put together one kind of like NFL prediction podcast. We'll do it. You guys know the drill. Stay blessed. CR, appreciate you, man. I think I head out of here soon, so we'll get you out of here.
well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Always, always, and always. You guys know the drill. Stay blessed. We'll catch you guys on the next one.